welcome to the 2020 Fall PCI Foundation State of the Foundation Report. This is Marty McIntyre. Every year I give a State of the Foundation report to the PCI Foundation Board of Trustees. And this year, because of COVID, we held a virtual meeting instead of an in-person meeting, and I decided to record it instead of doing it in person with the trustees. So, in order to share it with anyone who might be interested in the day in, day out functioning of the PCI Foundation, I thought I would put it up online so you could see what is happening with the PCI Foundation. So thank you for checking us out. So every report I give as the State of the Foundation report really focuses on our 4 pillars, which are our programs, our communications, development, and our operations. So the first pillar is always our programs. And of course, the biggest chunk of our programs are the studios that we do. This year we had 19 of them. And the other programs we have run the gamut from the professor seminar, which we had to take as a virtual seminar this year, to Project Precast, which we were able to do this year because it was right before the pandemic. If you want to know anything that happened in 2019-2020, the academic school year, so leading up until about June, you can look at PCI Foundation Yearbook, and that has all of the information. And putting together the yearbook was really an educational experience, even for me, because I kind of knew in the back of my head how much it took to put on all of these studios and all of these different programs. But when I really solicited all of the names and all of the people that everybody was working with at their different schools, the numbers are really astounding. I think it's really great to stop and look at who makes up the foundation. It's not really the trustees or just the professors. There's actually hundreds. Well, actually, when you count the 1,149 students and then all of the hundreds of other people who are teaching those students and sponsoring those students and helping those students and mentoring those students, suddenly there's a couple thousand people involved in our program. So that was really enlightening to me, putting this yearbook together. Of course, there were a lot of changes this year, and we are still going to see a lot of changes even next year. Last spring, about the time that we finished up the convention in Dallas, Fort Worth, schools were starting to send their students home, and everybody was forced to go online. And most of the studios did amazing things. I was able to sit in on a lot of classes and see a lot of the programs that I don't normally see. So that was kind of cool, because by going on to Zoom or Miro that some of the schools were using, it really allowed me to see a lot more than I typically can by sitting in Chicago. But I think we're going to see some restrictions on students traveling, and we're going to see studios asking for virtual tours and virtual tools. We did see a lot of the professors using the PCI programs that the regions put on and the PCI put on. And also David Garber down in Florida has a whole YouTube channel of lectures that are awesome. I don't know what's going to happen next semester, but I think it's going to take us quite a while to get back to normal. We did go ahead and do the student survey that we do every year. I do rank their favorite activities based on what they've actually done. And the number one thing that they like doing is traveling to precast industry meetings. That traveling to the show is the number one thing they enjoy. They like class competitions, and they really like the big beam competition. They love anything hands-on, the concrete work that they've been doing. They really like doing the poster session at the convention, and they like getting out and doing tours. So the industry tours of the plants, the tours of project sites, things like that. I also asked them on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best ever, how would you rate your overall pre-cast studio experience? And this year they gave us an 8.8. Only a couple students gave us a 6, but almost all the students gave between a 7 and a 10. I asked, what would you suggest we do? They do want more field trips, they want to see projects being built, they want software, things like that. The professor seminar online broke it down into a couple courses. I worked with PCI and used their system, and I had about 20 attendees of each program. This gets back to the numbers of people who are actually involved in it. We had 19 students last year, and it included 7 PCI regions. We touched 50 professors who were doing our programs either as part of a current program or still teaching precast because they were part of an old program. 54 PCI member partners, and that might be that they were partnering on a couple different, so GATE might be counted here a couple times, or Course Lab might be counted a couple different times. And then there's business and government partners, so Caltrans, KCCT, and then last year, by my count, we had 1,149 students, which is a pretty good leap from the first year when we had about 14. So we've come a really long way. The second part of our program is communications. We've been going gung-ho with that. Some of the things that we're going to be communicating, but I just want to share with you now because they happened this week during the awards presentation. Shreya Letty at University of Alabama received the George Nasser Award for his PCI Journal article. Mike Melsom, a former trustee, received the Norm Scott Award. Michael Carlos Barrios Kleiss received the Distinguished Educator Award. Dana Gulling and Greg Lucier won jointly the Educator of the Year Award. We've done 23 blogs this year. The yearbook is online. I've done 15 new videos, and Laura has done 7 news releases that are all on the website. I do try to get out tools that you can use fairly often. Right after our meeting in Fort Worth, I got out the little flyer that you see here that just shows you, what our annual programs are and how we use them. Our YouTube channel, we've got 31 videos that we've posted since January 1st, just generally about communication. The website, we're keeping that updated. We've got a newsletter that's going out monthly. Postcards go out when we have events to promote. We've got a Thanksgiving card going out soon. Blogs get updated regularly. Every time we get a new school, Laura has a whole packet of information that she collects from them. So then she can work with their local media, PCI channels like the PCI Journal. She gives it to me and I do all of the social media. We put it in the PCI Foundation newsletter, and we take whatever opportunities we can to get the story out there. So we've had a lot of success with that, just getting the word out. I want to make sure that you're all aware that there's still time to nominate people for the Community Development Award and the Partner of the Year Award. These are great opportunities for us to tell our story. I'm also trying my best to track student members, and I've really stepped up my game with trying to get them to sign up as PCI student members. Chris Hurst at PCI and the Student Membership Committee have been really helpful in upping the stats on this. The third pillar is development. I thought I would do just kind of a big picture of donations. I can send you some more information that'll spell out. So looking at the big picture for donor information, I went back and kind of looked at the last 3 years. For this year, I'm only looking at through the end of August. So with the total donors, so far we've had 43 corporate donors this year, and I attribute that to a couple things. One is we don't have the opt-out donors attributed yet. Secondly, I usually get a big surge of donors by the end of the year. So we're down a little bit in corporate donors, tracking where we should be or where we have typically been. But we're not, financially, we're not doing too badly. We're just about $100,000 less right now than we were last year. Where I'm not quite as happy is with the individual donors, although, we still haven't gotten those opt-out yet. So we've got 88 individuals donating, and they've made 246 donations, about $33,000 compared to $58,000 last year. We have had to cancel some of our special events like Concrete Chefs and the barbecue competition. I'm hoping that we can do a virtual Concrete Chefs. I'm doing some research now on the best ways to do this. You could do it as a live stream, or you could do it as a kind of like a TV show that's 45-50 minutes long with commercials from sponsors, and there's all sorts of different ways to do it. So I'm hoping to get my development committee and Jim Boss and some of his Concrete Chef team to work with us on that and do that at the end of November or beginning of December. We are still planning to do the digital silent auction in cooperation with the MPCA Foundation. Ray Clark and Marianne Metfin have been working on that. They're looking for products or cash donations, and you'll be able to just use an app on your phone to donate that. The last pillar of our organization is the operations, and I always think mission stewardship is really important, and that's a big part of what I do, just making sure that I'm kind of keeping the boat steered correctly. We do have some important dates coming up next year, starting with the next round of proposals. We're moving to a once-a-year grant application process. The way that the next grant application process is going to work is December 1st. They can submit a preliminary proposal. If that's accepted, I'll put together a team for them, and then they'll have to get a draft of their proposal to me by February 1st. That'll give the academic advisory panel a month to go through it and get it out by March 1st, and then we'll have that month of March to look at them and hopefully announce the awards about April 1st. Project Precast, we're hoping that it still happens. We're moving forward as if it is happening. Yeah, applications will be due January 22nd, 2021. So I've been calling all the schools, and they're kind of all over the place with whether or not students are going to be allowed to travel. So we'll see. And Professor Seminar, we're on schedule for that to happen June 2nd through 4th, 2021. So I hope that you'll put that on your calendar for next year. The big thing we're going to do at the meeting on Monday is look at some grant proposals. We've got a new evaluation sheet. If you guys want some changes to that after we use it today, we can still make changes to it. One of the things I'm sending out is this chart that gives you a 3-year window on what programs we've had the last couple of years and area they fall into. I also have this chart of the grant commitments that we have. Everything has already been paid out for 2020. So if you look at our budget, that money has already been paid out. In our policies, we do state that we will not commit more to grants than we have available in our bank accounts. Right now we have about $1 million in all of our bank accounts together, and we have a commitment through the year 2023 of just over $600,000 because all of the money for 2020 has already been paid out. So thanks for sticking to the end of the PCI Foundation's State of the Foundation report for the fall of 2020. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email me at info@pci-foundation.org. And don't forget, you can always donate to the PCI Foundation at our website, pci-foundation.org. Thanks so much.